me today as we dive into two of our hottest projects. First up, we're tackling a tricky deployment issue with the Music Nerd app. Despite Pete's best efforts, deploying to Vercel has been throwing some curveballs, so Pete and I are going to walk you through our debugging process and share some tips and tricks for overcoming these types of hurdles. After that, we're going to switch gears to explore the Florum, which is a fresh and innovative project for the Eternal Garden. The Florum is an interactive guide that helps you create unique characters with AI and Dolly-generated images, all while building out a vibrant community forum. Whether you're here for the tech troubleshooting or the creative brainstorming, we've got a packed session lined up, so grab your coffee, settle in, and join us on this journey as we fix, build, and innovate live. Let's get started. Pete, welcome. We'll start off with two questions. First, one word, how are you doing today? And second, what do you need?
I am grateful to be alive and excited to be cooking up with you. As far as, well, hold up. How are you doing?
I am vibrating is how I am.
That's how I feel. I feel like the moment I deployed my first app, I was like ecstatic. I was like, I'm addicted to this now, to have that much control over what you can create is very empowering. So I feel electrified as well. So I appreciate you. I mean, this is a big part because of you. So thank you. As far as what we're doing today, yeah, I'm working on two main projects. One of them is Music Nerd Agent. So what happens with this right now is I created a chatbot and Music Nerd is this platform that Carl and CY and the team are building. Right now, the main idea is we want to create different agent music nerds, right, that would pop up and have a conversation with you, depending on what music you're listening to or what search you just did on Music Nerd, right? So the first thing that I did was I just kind of challenged myself to create that chatbot. I hooked it up to Claude API, and I also have the Spotify API running. It's a very simple thing so far. I haven't tuned the agent a ton, but what's really cool is I can share my screen probably and then show you what is actually working. The only issue is that I can't deploy right now to Vercel, which Vercel is where we'll be just kind of testing the hosting and being able to share that link with others, right? So maybe we'll start there and then I can dive into the other project.
Yeah, I think these videos usually end up wrapping up before we get finished. So to be the most effective, let's start with the problem you are facing. It sounds like you're having trouble deploying to Vercel. Do you already have a failed deployment that we can look at? Can you open up your Vercel account, share your screen, and show us the error you're seeing in the deployment?
Yep. Also, I basically took it out of Vercel because I didn't know if there was like some sort of error. So here, I'll go ahead and share my screen. I don't remember when the last time I pushed to Git was, but let me just go ahead and just create it. Let me see.
No, it's good. Let's go back to your projects.
Cool. So we have Music Nerd. See, I had deleted it because I thought it was like something. So let me try to
you've
import
already deleted it. Okay.
Yeah, so let me try to run the import. I know there's some environment variables I got to put in. So 1 second, let me stop sharing this. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to put the Spotify client ID, which that'll handle connecting us to Spotify. We also have a client secret for Spotify. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. One thing I'm noticing already from learning this past week was that I have all my IDs and APIs and stuff in this .env file, which I think they shouldn't be. They should be on a .env.local file.
It's a good observation. Both of those files should operate the exact same on your local machine.
Gotcha. So they should have all this information on them. But when I'm deploying, how do I think I still don't understand how to keep that separated, right? Because you're like, hey, don't deploy with your API keys,
right? Yes, the whole purpose of that env file is it's one of the few files we do not put into GitHub. GitHub is where we store our code, and usually we store it public so that anybody, that's called open source code. And if you're putting things like your Spotify private keys in there or your ChatGPT keys, I could see those and I could use them. And so I could just be like, oh, I don't want to put in my credit card or set up an OpenAI account. Pete Rango has gratuitously given us his OpenAI key because he pushed his ENV file into GitHub. I'm just going to use his keys. Let's run up $100 or $1,000 on his account. He can deal with the payment on that. So that's why you put it in the ENV file and we don't push it. Is you can still use those variables. You can put it in Vercel. You take it off screen. You don't let us see it, and then they'll still work. But then if I go into your code base on GitHub and I pull it down, I don't have access to those variables, and I'll need to get my own version of those variables and I'll put them in my own ENV so that the app still works. But you, as the builder of the code, are not sharing variables that are tied to your credit card or data that you don't want shared with other people.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. And is this something that when I push to Git, it automatically knows not to push the .env file?
No, it does not. There is a file in your project called .gitignore. And inside of that .gitignore, you put any file that you want Git to ignore. And so usually by default, that gitignore will contain a .env in it. But if it doesn't, then you have been pushing your keys.
Amazing.
This is great.
Okay.
This is a good place to start. So here's our error. Is this the same error you were seeing before?
Yeah.
Let's open up Cursor in another tab. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this error, give it to Cursor, and have Cursor fix it for us.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for Cursor. So let me go into that. Okay, cool. Now let me go ahead and copy that.
It looks like you already have in your gitignore that it's ignoring .env, .env.local, and all those. So you should be good.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to copy that. Do I need to put anything else before or after?
That's up to you. I would say, can you please help me debug this error?
Okay. Whoops.
Looks perfect.
Cool. All right. I should get the fast thing so we can do this fast, but
I think the slow is honestly pretty great. And it's allowed you to stay free, so you haven't had to pay any money, right?
I did because I've just been running so many messages.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been creating so many little things just to like get used to it. There's another thing I've been working on while this is processing where I'm trying to figure out how to create like a dashboard for myself and how to onboard others to my platform. So, and that's been a challenge because I keep getting similar issues of like, and this is, maybe while this is working, here I have a little error that I keep running into. The app vulnerabilities, right? Like I feel like sometimes it's okay to have X amount of vulnerabilities, but ultimately you want to end up with 0 vulnerabilities, I'm guessing, right? Okay, yeah, I just keep running into something where, especially in this other app where it's saying that Privy and WAGMI or whatever are just not working together well. So it says that the versions are just like mismatched. But yeah, no, we don't have to get into that too deep. Here we go. The error is coming from a type inference issue in the chat route. Okay. Key fixes: added proper interfaces for all data types, explicitly typed all variables, added error handling for music context fetching, simplified the context message, maintained strict typing throughout. Okay. Should I go ahead and accept that?
Go ahead and accept it.
Cool. All right. What should I do now? Go back to Vercel and redeploy?
No, now we want to push your changes because you made a change here. We need to push it up to GitHub. And every time you push to GitHub, it will automatically trigger a redeploy in Vercel.
That's what it was. Okay. So it's push to Git.
I recommend you use the tab on the left. You don't have a ton of experience with Git, right?
No, very rare. And yeah, I'd love to, before we wrap, to figure out the best way to collaborate with people, right? Like I know how to push to main. I don't think I understand yet, like if I work with you, what the best way would be, right? Like, do I fork and then you kind of work on that? I don't understand the structure yet of that.
Do you want to go a step deeper, or are you just expressing that it's not something that you understand?
Yeah, I'd love to go deep into understanding how to better collaborate and how to use GitHub properly.
Okay. In the top left, you'll see 4 buttons, I think actually 5 buttons. One's highlighted, and that's your file explorer. One to the left is search. One more to the left is Git. That's what we're going to focus on. And one more, I don't know what those other 2 are. I always stop at Git.
Okay, cool.
First thing, you can see all the files that have been changed. It looks like there's a lot of changed files here locally that have not been pushed up to Git yet.
Interesting.
This bottom one is actually the source control. We can collapse that. The section above is what I'm referring to. Yeah, you can collapse that. This is what I'm referring to. These are all the files changed. And we want to get these off of your computer and up into Git, which will trigger a Vercel deploy. And as you just said, you don't necessarily want to push straight to main. The reason, if you're watching this video and you've been pushing to main and it's been working for you, that works on an individual basis. The reason why we don't push straight to main on any project with more than one person is version controlling and ensuring that everybody signs off on code that is being shipped. Without going too deep, the overall flow is check out a branch, make changes, push your branch, do a code review, merge to main. That's the simple flow, and then you repeat that. I have an idea, I make a branch, I make the changes, I push my changes, I open up a pull request, I merge to main. That repeats for every idea that I have. That's the flow I work through on a daily. Step 1 is where we're at. We want to check out a branch. Now that you have the Git tab selected, you'll click on those 3 dots that are in the top right corner of that tab. And then there should be a checkout to option when you click on that.
Checkout to option, checkout to, okay.
And then that should open up a search bar in the top bar where you can type in the name of the branch that you want. I recommend just typing Pete. This is called the branch name. The branch name that I like is your name / the feature that you're building. So in this case, Pete / deploy, because right now we're just trying to deploy it.
Cool.
And then hit
branch.
enter. Yep.
I just.
Now we need a commit message. So we have all these changes. We need to get these changes pushed up onto our branch. You're now on your branch. So everything that you push is going to go to your branch rather than to main. Before you click that button, we just need to type a message into the box right above of what are the changes that's included in here. For now, we're just going to say fixing type errors from Vercel deployment. These are human readable texts that you're mostly writing for yourself. And now we want to add all the files. So a little bit below where your mouse is. If you go up to the top in the same line as changes, if you hover over there, you'll see a plus. 2 to the right. Yep, that'll add all of them. Click that. And now click commit, the button, and then publish. So now we've got 2 things. Let's jump to GitHub first. First, let's open up the GitHub repo that you are storing all these changes in on GitHub. And if it's possible, would you mind sharing your entire computer screen instead of the individual tabs so we can jump with you?
Yeah, no problem.
Am I going too fast, or are we doing okay?
No, that's perfect. All right, cool. So we're in Git now.
You see how it automatically prompted you to open up a pull request?
Yep.
So this is us fitting in and doing the flow perfect. Go ahead and open up that compare and pull. It'll automatically open it in main, and now you click create pull request. And now what this has allowed us to do is we can now visualize and test our changes. We have not pushed it to main yet, and this gives us a step to do our production before shipping it. In music, you have like the time in the studio where you're producing things raw. You make a whole bunch of changes, you get a whole bunch of different tracks, you have a whole bunch of instruments. And then after that, you take that raw body of work and give it to a producer who's going to filter out the things, delete some parts that don't make sense. And that's what this review is. What you've just done is you've just come out of the studio with a bunch of features, and now you're handing it to your producer, which in this case is also you. Now your producer is going to click on that tab on the right, the files changed. And there's going to be 2 parts in a review. There's the files changed, which is that tab. And this is going to be me reading through and just making sure, up and until this point, you've just been telling Cursor, hey, do this thing, click accept. Do this thing, click accept. You haven't really been looking too deeply at what it's been saying. This is our actual review on what specifically is the difference between your changes and main. The greens are new lines that you have added. The reds are lines that you have deleted. And so you can go through file by file. You can look at the file, and if it looks okay, there's a viewed check mark, a viewed checkbox in the top right of each file you see here. Yep, and so what I do is I will go through my own pull requests. I'll look at each file. Does this look okay? yep, check it as viewed. Once all my files are checked, I've completed the code review side. And so then in each review, there's 2 steps. Does the code look clean enough? This is an aesthetic thing that I and like lead devs will do, but most newer devs don't care about and is not too important when you're early on. The more important thing for you early on is my build working? And so if you scroll all the way up to the top of your pull request and we go to the left tab of conversation, we can track how our Vercel build is going. If we scroll down a little bit, we see some X's and it looks like our Vercel build failed. And we can click that inspect button beside the failed text and that will open up the specific deploy. And we can see that it ran 2 minutes ago. It only took 14 seconds to run. And then here is our error message. Can you click expand right above the red part? Yep. And we're gonna loop this again. It looks like you're using Prisma. Do you have any idea why you're using Prisma or what you're using Prisma for?
No, not idea. And actually I thought Prisma I had used for a different project. I didn't remember I was using it for this.
Okay. Let's highlight from that first black line above the red where it says Prisma, or as high up as you want, actually. The more context we give it, the better. So let's start at the top as high up as you can, and then let's highlight and copy it all down to the red. And again, we're going to feed this right into cursor.
Okay.
And copy it, paste it into cursor composer. And we'll put a little preface on it. I would say it looks like there's an error related to Prisma in my build. Is Prisma essential in this project or can it be removed?
Okay.
So if possible, let's delete stuff. Less is more, simple is best, small is beautiful. Part of the review process is let's take a bunch of stuff out, because if we can work the same with less things, that allows us to run more lean, have less drag, and extend our runway as far as possible.
Yeah, that's something I was running into when I was first developing this. You know, I noticed that Cursor was trying to do, how to explain it? I mean, because I'm pulling requests from that Spotify API, it seemed like there was something in the code that was making that pull request like every few seconds, and at a certain point it timed out, right? So then I looked up that Spotify has some sort of like rate limit, right? I don't remember what that rate limit is, but it's like these little things that I'm trying to understand of like, what are the limits that I can push, right? And how to not make Cursor like go on these loops that are just like unnecessary. So yeah, I feel you.
Your approach is pragmatic rather than going to school for 4 years, learning a bunch of things that are unrelated to the project you're trying to build, and then hitting these same issues, $100,000 in debt. You don't fully understand, but you're trying sincerely, you're practicing. And this is exactly what we do on a daily basis. I didn't know what rate limiting was 3 years ago. I hit the same barriers you hit, and then it didn't click for 3 or 4 projects. And then all of a sudden, when I saw rate limit, it clicked in my head, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. And I think that is a much more practical approach that you're taking of, I might not understand now, I'm gonna try. And if I have a question, you'll reach out to someone like me. And I think that is my ideal model for how musicians should be operating, as opposed to, I'm gonna go get a degree in computer science and they're not actually gonna teach me how to build an app and I'm gonna leave in debt.
Yep. Yep. And I'm such a, I learned like this so much. Oh, hold on, let's see. Okay, no such file or directory. Maybe it's already deleted.
It might already be deleted.
Update your env file. So it's going to get rid of.
It looks like it's deleting your.
Yeah, but that's okay because this is all local stuff, you know?
Yeah, we don't want it to touch our env. So let's address these one by one. Can you scroll up to point 1? We're on point 3. Point 1, we're removing lint. We're removing, can you click on the file name package.json? Yeah, and then let's scroll down to see where these changes are. Oh, maybe we already accepted this one.
I definitely accepted this one already.
Oh, okay, okay. And then you just tried the second command and
yeah, I tried this one.
Let's not click on env because if we click on that, it'll open up the file and we don't want to expose that.
Okay.
Let's see if you do have that Prisma env. We're on the Git tab right now on your left side. Can we switch to File Explorer? I do not see a, oh. I do not see a Prisma file in here.
Okay. So we should be good.
Yeah, click the X on ENV. We don't want to change this.
On this
Yeah,
one.
reject file. Yep, that's it. And then go ahead and
Okay.
close this tab, the ENV tab.
All right. Close.
There you go. I might have seen it.
It's okay, bro. After this, I'll just change the keys. It's all right.
Assume those keys are exposed, so if anything's attached to your credit card, rotate them to a new key. Okay, yep. It says it's changed. We can test this locally. So instead of just pushing and waiting, let's try pnpm build in your terminal right there.
You said PM?
It looks like you're using npm, so npm is perfect. Use npm build. It's the same name, just a different tool.
npm build, okay.
Yeah, and you might have been right with the run. Try npm run build, I'm sorry.
Oops.
There you go. This is going to do the same thing that we're doing in Vercel, but instead of waiting for Vercel, we can do it here locally and get these a little bit faster. And one of the other benefits is now you have a button that says add to composer. You just click that button, and then it makes our iteration a little bit faster here. Please fix.
Oops.
Perfect. No, you don't need to stop. It'll know.
I don't know. You know, I used to listen to lo-fi a ton when I was cooking anything. And then eventually when I joined Eternal Garden, I started switching over to atmospheric sci-fi music. And that's been such a vibe. It makes me feel like I'm on a spaceship. It's great. Question while we're waiting, databases and where to store things. You know, when I was first, there's two things. I was trying Supabase, which I don't know if that's like, what's the best thing. I'm trying to find something that's efficient, but also can handle a good amount of files. I'm mostly thinking about this for like an artist that wants to create their own site. In that site, they're basically, it's everything they need, right? It's their onboarding tool is where they used to send out maybe an email blast or some sort of CMS. But yeah, I'm trying to fix, I thought of like, okay, well, maybe I can incorporate Arweave into something like this, right? So like any file that I'm like uploading or publishing to my site is also kind of being minted in some way and published to Arweave. But I don't know, like, I just don't understand yet the limits of Arweave compared to using something like Supabase, or can they work together? You know, I haven't explored that. Okay,
let's talk about it while we're waiting again. Yeah, I think there's one more file higher up that might have been changed. There we go. So the config, it looks like TypeScript errors are potentially it. So can you click the file name just so we can see the changes? Type definition, anything else changed lower down? Type definition, we don't need to think too hard about. It's changing your scope that you're using to authorize, and it's deleting your ability to read currently playing. Is that an important part of your app, the ability to know what someone's currently listening to?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's manually go through these changes then. Let's scroll up to the top one and accept, scroll all the way up. Click the green, click that green accept. Let's scroll down to that line and reject this one because we don't want that change. Let's keep scrolling. This one is just adding a type, so let's accept this change. This is where the error was occurring, and it looks like it's just extending it a little bit more. We still have expires at. We're checking a type now, and we're verifying that now is greater than expires before we try to get a token. That looks good to me. I would accept it. Anything else in this file?
No, that's it.
Okay, let's keep scrolling down on the right, and let's find the next file and do the same.
I think that was that for that, and then let's go to this guy.
Okay. So there's two different ways that I accept from Cursor. If we're building momentum and it feels like it's understanding, we're just blind accepting. And then as you run into errors, you slow down on the blind accepts and you start clicking into the files, and then you start to get more granular with how you interact with it. This is to prevent it. It's important when it starts hitting errors to move a little bit slower until we get back to green where everything's passing. We're importing a new thing that looks fine, updating a type. We're declaring a module down below. Let's see what's going on in that. And this screen, what's this screen block? Looks like just a type, so looks good to me. I would accept everything in here. Anything
Okay,
else? That's it.
the error. Okay, so
In
then
your
we
terminal,
can.
just hit up and then hit enter. If you hit up, it'll show you your pass command, and then hit enter to execute it again.
Question: is there a quick key to delete the whole string, or is it just holding down delete?
Control C will crash whatever you're doing, including the line. So if you just
Oh,
hold
cool.
down the F key, like hold down the F key right now and just let it type in that box. And then like you're saying, there's no way to select it all right. And so that's going to be hard. You could backspace, or you could just do Control C, and that just
Sick.
brings you to a new line.
Okay.
Does that
All
help
right.
answer the
So
question?
that's perfect. That's what I was looking for. Property artist info does not exist on type Spotify track.
Add the
Content.
composer,
Okay.
loop it again.
Okay. So one thing that, I mean, let's circle back to that first question, because I think that's
File
important
storage?
to me as file storage.
There's two different types of storage. There's key value pairs, which are like, for this email, their name is TK, or for TK, he is a dark side character type. Those are key value stores, and those go inside a Supabase. If you're talking about files, like an audio file, a .mp3, a .jpeg, those are a different type of storage. Those you're going to put on an Arweave, on an IPFS, in an AWS S3, in some sort of storage bucket for files.
Cool.
You could use on-chain storage like Arweave, or you could go more traditional with AWS. It depends on what your priorities are. Does that help answer your question, or does that create more questions?
No, it answers my questions, and it does create more questions. The first one would be, okay, so I was looking into Firebase, right?
Yep.
So is Firebase better than Supabase? Is there some pros and cons there?
Firebase is built by Google. That was the first database I ever learned, was Firebase. Like 10 years ago when I first started coding, I loved Firebase because the alternatives were complex. The downside with Firebase is it's closed source and it's owned by Google. And so you trust that as much as you want.
Yeah.
Supabase came out as an open source alternative to Firebase. And so Supabase is like the next evolution that's more open, more scalable, lower costs to Firebase. However, I have found that the interface for newer devs, the web page itself, might be easier if you use Firebase. So I recommend whichever one feels more comfortable to you, whichever one feels like it is amplifying your practice and putting more wind behind you. Firebase and Supabase are both great options up and until you start to scale of like thousands of users a month, at which point you'll want to readdress it. But for now, whichever one feels more comfortable to you, they'll both work the same.
And then at that point, what's the next step? AWS or not AWS, sorry.
I think Supabase scales really well. All the teams that I work on use Supabase, like CoopRex builds on Supabase, Recoup builds on Supabase. Mint Songs, we home rolled our own, but that was years ago. I think most companies use Supabase, or they have their own instantiation of SQL or MySQL or SQLite. I don't like those. I think Supabase is the best option as you scale. If it is not working, you probably have the money to consult someone with more intelligence than me, and they can probably give you a more informed choice. But as far as I have gotten in the apps that I built, Supabase is like, that's going to scale as high as you want it. And Firebase should honestly scale pretty far as well. You just might see the biggest difference you'll see in scaling is Firebase will likely cost more as you scale than Supabase will keep the prices low as you scale.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for that. And then maybe before we review this error fix, the Arweave versus like AWS for file storage. I mean, I'm sure, there are the limitations of blockchain, speed, blah, blah, blah. But maybe from your perspective, what would you use one over the other?
How important is permanence in the storage of the files you're storing?
I mean, to me, permanence is super important. However, I also value user experience, so if it's like something like, I remember when I first got on Mirror and I was looking at like Mark DeClive Lowe's post, and he had a video in there that was like super big. It was like 15 to 30 minutes long or something like that, right? And that took a minute to load, and it was obviously because it was on chain. Who knows what it was pulling from because it's mirror. But that's the experience I want to avoid, right? However, I'm not opposed to, like, let's say putting heavier videos on YouTube and just like hyperlinking it or embedding it, right? Like that's cool too. But I think at the end of the day, we still want to host certain things, right? So
how have you felt about content loading on sound? When you go on sound and you listen to songs or you load content, does that feel slow, or does that feel like the type of experience that is acceptable or prioritized in what you're building?
I think it's fast enough.
That's a good point that you're mentioning. AWS is what all the top companies use, like Netflix and everybody else, YouTube most likely. So if you want like top tier, high performant tools, AWS will probably be the way to go. The only reason I don't build on AWS is I think, okay, I like to iterate a lot. I like to build a lot of apps. I usually put in temporary credit cards that stop paying. What I would hate is if Latasha is publishing her music on a platform that I built, and then I stop paying for AWS, and then the S3 bucket shuts down, and then all the music that she uploaded just disappears into AWS's trash can. That's the main reason I build on Arweave. However, if the fastest load time is your biggest concern, probably start on AWS. I think Arweave's really fast, and I think if it is slow, you can add a caching layer. But but that's like potentially more build. I don't want to take too much time on this question. Does that help with more clarity?
No, that's perfect already. That's a great place for me to start. Okay, so the error is coming from a type issue in the auth config. Let's fix that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the config. It seems like that was already fixed.
Yeah, I think that was last one. Are we sure this is the latest?
Yeah. Oh no, we're looking at the wrong one. Here we go. The error is because we need to update the Spotify track inference to include the artist info property. So let's go to index. Let's check this out.
Just adding types in that first one.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Looks great. It's giving you a type where you didn't have it before.
Yeah, great. That's literally what we needed. Cool. And I guess the rest we can accept as well, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And then we can, maybe if we have time, we'll get to this. But I noticed, I'm trying to get the agent to pretty much kind of like respond to some of this, right? Because the issue right now is that it's hallucinating when it hears a track. It's like, oh, I'm hearing, Sound of Fractures track. It's so danceable, and like, it starts saying sometimes things that are not really like, oh, it has this like growling bass, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't have that. Like, you're just like making things up now. So I figured like at least giving it some of this context, it'll help it have a little bit more. But anyways, okay, so this update, cool. So let's try to run build.
Yep.
Okay.
You'll hit up twice now. Oh, or you can retype it.
Sorry.
It's all good.
All right, let's see. Okay, another one. I feel like this is all going to be that latest stuff that I tried messing around with. Okay, add a composer.
Luckily, it's all type errors.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this might be just like, oh, whoops. Yeah, I got it. This just might be from that last iteration where I was trying to tune the LLM a little bit. And then maybe, I don't know if we can this still run? This is probably done. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you the.
Show me it. Let's go back to cursor and run it, because we're no longer building. We're waiting for the.
Okay, cool.
Do npm run dev. Yeah, let's see it.
All right, so I should be able to just
give us a little intro, because Opus is probably going to clip this part. Can you give it like, this is yada yada yada? Give it a nice viral little clip so Opus will grab it.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the first project I'm developing for Music Nerd. Right now, I'm trying to develop an agent, Music Nerd, that will connect to your Spotify. And as soon as you hit the platform and you're connected, this chatbot will be able to identify what you're listening to and maybe what your top tracks are, top artists that you're listening to. So that way, once you're interacting with the site, it'll have somewhat of an idea of your music taste, and it'll start having a conversation with you. The main goal of this Music Nerd agent is to not only nerd out with you with the music that you're a fan of, but also to possibly push you to support that artist in different ways. So we want to be able to kind of give links of like, oh, you know, I see that you're listening to Sound of Fractures. You know, you should really check out his new track. And also, you know, after you have maybe an interaction or two, it'll kind of give you another link to go support him on whatever links he has available to support with, right? So we're gonna go ahead and connect to Spotify. As you can see, I'm logged in. It should recognize something that I'm listening to, which is great. That's what I'm listening to. Right now, this is kind of modeled by Zane Lowe. So that's the kind of personality it's going to give us. And it's really cool here. You know, it's telling us the artist that I'm listening to, the track, but even though this is close, it's still hallucinating, you know? It's just making assumptions maybe by anything it's found. So I need to figure out a better way to kind of pull information from tracks. One thing that we've been thinking about is just like making a general list of publications or anywhere that do talk a little bit more about music to pull some of that information. Right now, a lot of the database is just pulling from like Music Brains, Music Nerd, and Spotify. So trying to figure out the best way to kind of like, you know, not only incorporate that information, but also find a couple more places that we trust or develop, right? That can tell it a little bit more about the track. But yeah, right here is just, you know, there's a couple other issues I need to work out. Like here, it looks like he gets cut off, right? The other thing is, let me play a track. 1 second. Okay, cool. I'm playing a different track right now. Let me see. And let's see if it'll recognize it. And we can go check on listening to. Here we go. We can go check on Cursor in a second too. Cool. And look, it detected the track I'm listening to.
Wow.
But there's an error right now because it should have like had a response here, which I had it working like that before. But yeah, between the changes I've done, it's just kind of gotten a little wonky.
This is amazing. How long have you been building this out?
This was a night, man. This was like
one night.
This is a few hours of building.
From a man with a master's degree in coding, right? Like you've spent years working on your programming skills before this, yeah?
No, not at all. In the past, you know, when ChatGPT first dropped, I definitely experimented with making like a ping pong game. I did like 100 days of code using ChatGPT. So like I have some experience, but nothing like you.
Have you found Cursor? What have you found to be the difference in your practice with Cursor now as opposed to what you were doing with ChatGPT a few months ago?
I mean, it increases my flow state a little bit more because I don't have to jump between windows as much, one. And then two, I love that I can just give it the whole code as context, you know, and that it can edit my files and do things like that, as opposed to like me having to copy and then find the one string and then replace that, you know. That's definitely optimized the flow. Okay. What's up? Were you going to say something before I say something?
No, let's continue. I want to optimize for getting your problem solved.
Cool. Let's fix the type error in the welcome route by properly typing the track data. Okay.
Only one file change. Love that.
Okay, let's go to route.
Importing a type we've already made.
So accept?
Yeah. And then how's it using that type should be lower down. And all that it's doing is just saying that it's a special type now. Looks perfect to me. We're just saying these are Spotify tracks instead of any. Let's try the build again. Okay, oh, there's more. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple more.
Just
it was missing all these things. Yeah, I think this is all right.
Agreed. Doesn't look like any functionality changes, just adding types.
Yep. Cool.
You have two options. You can crash your server with Control-C, or if you want to keep it running, you can open up a new server by clicking the plus button. It's your call, depending on if you want to keep demoing your local app or not.
Yeah, let's keep the local real quick. Oh. What?
NPM? I think you combine both of your commands into one.
Oh, okay. NPM run dev. That's what I needed to do.
That'll start your server. We want to run the build, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. So let me crash that. So npm build.
npm run build.
run build. That's what it is. I need to get better at doing the up arrow thing.
The fact that you're typing it out is running you through the muscle memory of typing out the words. I like the shortcuts.
Yeah.
Your practice will most likely plant the seeds deeper of these are the actual commands you need to run instead of just, I don't remember what the command is, but I can go back to the last time I did it.
Cool.
No, neither is better or worse. It's just where are you trying to go? Are you trying to have a deeper understanding of the commands, or do you not care and let it run whatever command it needs to?
Cool. Makes sense.
We got another error.
Yeah. We just got another error here.
It says another implicit type any. So this is great. These are just type errors.
Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of these errors are probably just from like last time, just me not either pushing it to Git or not actually making these changes. So that should be good. I think
the slowest part is the fact that we don't have fast access. And so that
Yeah.
means we're waiting. Let's go on a little rabbit hole. And then it finishes, but we're talking about something else. Since this is something that I face in my own daily practice, in my practice, my goal is to shorten the amount of time from an idea enters my brain to I see the result in front of me. The shorter I can make that time, the more iterations I can do on a daily basis, which allows me to progress towards my goals at a greater level of velocity and acceleration. And so when there's moments like this, I try to see what is the slowest part of this cycle between I have an idea and the idea is manifested in front. And however I can get rid of those points of friction or decrease the overall time, the more likely it'll be that I can iterate on ideas faster, which leads to me being able to observe reality and navigate reality more clearly.
Yeah, and one thing also that I appreciated in general how you did TK's stream, right? Because it was with the instructions MD file, right? I thought that was really dope. Because I think when I first started, even like back when I didn't have cursor, it was like running through creating everything at once, and I figured like just building part by part has been really, really efficient, and it just helps so much more to understand what's actually going on. So yeah, I really appreciate it. All right, so here it says it's going to fix this type error. It's going to import Spotify track.
Making a new type called Spotify artist.
Okay, I'm going to accept.
Sounds good.
Here it's using that. Yeah, see, these are all the ones that are just like missing. Okay, so I'm just going to hit accept. Okay, that looks
I'm curious why it imported Spotify track. Can you scroll up to the top?
Yeah.
Can you delete that import of Spotify track? It looks like it's not being used, right? It's like grayed out a little.
This one?
Oh. No, right below it. The new line that it added to import Spotify track.
Oh yeah, here.
It added it. I think it got into a habit, but you can see it's if you try to search for Spotify track, it's not being used in this file. So I think we can delete it.
Oh, I probably change it to get current track.
There you go. That looks great.
Okay, cool.
Make sure you save it and then let's build again.
So I hit save. Do I need to do anything else?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let me see. Oh, actually, no. I gotta stop it first.
Cool. Can you scroll up a little on your nav bar, on the scroll bar on the right in your code editor? I'm seeing a red dot, which makes me think that there's an error. Not in the code editor above, not the terminal.
Oh, code problems.
Scroll up in your file.
Oh, here.
Yes, right there. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, there it is. Track info.analysis. We're most likely going to get that bug next. Let's see if I'm right. Let's check your terminal and see if it's already crashed.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, it already did that. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Feed it right into the cursor composer and. Yep.
Sick.
Excellencia has been. Oh, did you just speed it up?
Yeah. I added the speed up so we can get through it.
Oh, cool.
I don't see the actual error message.
I don't know why it doesn't see stuff sometimes. Try it again and just add a little bit more text into your terminal. Click the plus button again to add it to Composer. Please fix the type error related to track info.analysis.
Okay, cool. Have you tried O3 for coding yet?
No, I have not tried it for coding. You saw before the show, I've been using it for the live streams.
Yeah.
Today, my goal is to add it into Recoupable in the chat to make our app smarter. What model are you currently using in Music Nerd?
Claude.
Interesting. So you guys are using an Anthropic API key in your environment variables. Interesting.
Yeah. I found that the conversation is more natural sometimes than using OpenAI, but I haven't used. I think last time I used OpenAI, I was more on like on 4 or something.
Yeah, 4.0 mini.
Yeah, 4 mini. Yeah. Okay.
Did it fix the error?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to. Let's see. Here we go. Come on, baby. Oh. See, it's so many of these.
TypeScript errors are the death of me. I hated TypeScript with a burning passion when I was working with Decent, right after Mint Songs and when I came into Decent. I hated it exactly for this reason. Again, my goal is to shorten the time between I have an idea and I see it. These type changes are not modifying the functionality of your app. Why are we allowing it to take up 45 minutes in this call? We should just get rid of TypeScript and just use JavaScript, because none of these changes are impacting the functionality. So like that was a mental model I held for a long time, was that this is useless and we shouldn't be doing it. There's still a part of me that holds that feeling, but I'm after playing more and more with TypeScript, I am appreciating having types more to understand what the format is of the variables. And while these errors do slow us down in the short term, following typing that is well documented, I think makes it easier to develop in the long term.
Gotcha. Better foundation.
Is my personal preference currently. Do you have any preference between JavaScript and TypeScript?
No, not yet. Not yet. I haven't gotten there. Okay, look, it's got this error here. I'm gonna accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, just adding a type. And then is there something else lower? I see a red dot. Oh, there's much more.
Yeah, that looks right.
Agreed.
This looks right.
Mm-hmm.
This looks right. This looks right. All right, cool. Oh, there's one more thing here.
Try just tab. Hit tab. Save it. Try to build again.
All right, let's go down here. Come on, baby. Come on. Oh.
Okay, so now we haven't installed this package that it's looking for your icons. Are you using the FA Twitter and FA Ethereum icons still? The Ethereum and the Twitter icons?
I haven't gotten it to work. Essentially what I wanted to see is, let me see if this is the right one. It's important.
If you can click on that file, it'll open up the file so that I can see it. Right above the error, you see the file name to the left. Up a little bit, down, right there. Command click or control click. I don't remember what it is. I think it's command. If you command click, it should open up that file. Okay. There you go. So the reason why these aren't working is because we haven't installed the package. So we have two options. We can either get rid of it for now and you can add it in later. That's what I recommend. Or we can install the packages so that however you're using it right now works.
I don't think this is crucial. So this is for the artist links. So basically, if the agent gives you some artist links, there would be some sort of icons that pop up. But I haven't even been able to see it. So I don't know if it's even necessary right now. So
are you okay if we remove it for now?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's try to delete this. So let's find where's artist links being used. Scroll down a little bit until we can see your component being defined. Double click on artist links so that we select the whole word.
All right.
Yep, and now Command Shift F. That should do a global search for the usage of this component. We can see that artist links is being used in chat message. So let's delete artist links from chat message. Click into one of the below, one of the references a little bit lower. Yep, click on any of those. Let's see where this is used. Can we delete line 13? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's go for it. All right.
And then you can now delete line 1 because you're no longer using that. And we can see that there's an error in the type. So let's, if it's cool with you, let's try to just click on that message on line 3, the red line.
Oh, sorry.
Now that we're
where
not
was
using
it?
this file, we can now delete this file.
Oh, this whole file, right?
Yep. So click on the browser explorer on the top left. Right click on the file name and then say delete.
Okay.
Okay. And can we try fixing this type error so we don't run into it? Yeah. Just tab should fix it. And now we just need to import the type. So if you click on the red line, click on line 2, the empty line, and start typing import. There you go. Tab now. Oh, is that not a thing?
Oops.
Oh, it's probably saying we're importing it as a type. Can you hover over it? Should show us what the error is, but I don't see it. Do you see what the error is when you hover?
Here you go.
Oh, has no exported name. Did you mean chat message? I'm not sure what we mean.
Yeah, me either.
So maybe we just let cursor do this. Let's Control C back. Let's undo the changes that we made, and until we get now, let's delete that import, and now click on the red message, and then say debug with Composer. Or it should no, not there. Once the error, there you go, fixing Composer. Cool. It's automatically fixing it for you.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know that that feature right there, so that's useful.
Have you seen the episode of Lex Friedman with the Cursor team?
Oh no, that sounds exciting.
I learned a lot about how it works, and one of the devs that were on that call with Lex said that they have like 5 different types of autocomplete. And so you'll see different ways that it suggests like, hey, we think you mean this, where you can just hit tab. And so I've been trying to look for those little moments more of where it's suggesting.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like that's what we want. So go ahead and accept the file. Yeah. Let's try our build again.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right. Yeah. Let's add to Composer. We're at least getting different errors every time.
Yeah, that's good. I hate running into those loops and you're like, why am I just looping around this area?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that makes sense because we got rid of artist info.
Yeah, now it's complaining about artistinfo.name though.
Yeah, I just changed this one because that made sense.
Agreed.
But that means all of these other ones now, right?
Yeah, click on the red underline for name and let's have it fix it while we're here.
Cool. Oh man, that's so much better to do it that way. All right.
It's just updating our type, I think.
Cool. And then is there anything else? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna go try it one more time. Oh man, come on. It's these React things again.
Yep, more icons. Let's this one's probably going to try to have us install it. These are icons for shopping cart and Bandcamp. Are those being seen right now, or are those also special edge cases that we can remove?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to get it to pop up, and most likely it's because I didn't install React.
Can you control click into the support links on the left for the file name in the terminal?
In the terminal, support links right here?
Yep, command click, and let's find where FA Bandcamp, double click on FA Bandcamp and command F so that we find where FA Bandcamp is used. I'm sorry, on line 1, double click on FA Bandcamp.
Oh, here. There
you go. Let's delete. Can we delete this entire support links file, or do you want to preserve it?
No, because I mean, it's part of that, right? Is that I'm not going to be able to use this anyways until we have the React stuff down. So we can delete all of that.
Let's remove it for now. So let's double click on the file name, support links, right there where your mouse is. Oh, sorry. On line 14. And then Command Shift F so that we global search. We're looking for anywhere that's using the file.
Oh, sorry, I did the wrong one.
Double click to select it, and then Command Shift F.
Command Shift F. Okay,
There you go. It looks like this is used in quite a few places. So what is the fastest way for us to move forward? Maybe it is just faster for us to install this package for now. Let's scroll up to the top of the file and install it. Are you okay with me changing the direction and doing this?
No, that's fine. The only worry would be that we already deleted some of the support link React stuff. So should we revert a little bit?
Where did we delete?
It was, let me get rid of this real quick. We did it. Oh, man, I'm trying to remember where we were.
We deleted the artist link file, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the same as support link, or are those two?
Yeah, that should. You know what? It might be redundant. Yeah, like it might have created two different files for that at some point. Let me see. Well,
We've got roughly 10 minutes left. 4 minutes officially. I can extend it up to 5 over.
okay. Yeah, I mean, let's just run this to here and just tell it to install React.
All the icons, yeah.
And maybe something about adding any missing files or something. Like, is there?
Just tell it to install the missing packages.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I think I should be able to deploy this now that some of that is done. So go ahead and run that. Okay, so at this point, I can run npm audit fix force or.
Just run the build again. You shouldn't need to do that.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Here we go.
And while it's building, let's scroll up to see if there's any more red lines in this file, in the support links file. I think we're good. Okay.
This is probably trying to take all the type stuff. This is the chat message stuff.
Yeah, this is our route, key part of the app. Interesting. So it looks like that's saying that the features are optional. It looks like there's sometimes where you have a Spotify track and you're not actually using the features. And so this is allowing, if there's a case, which it looks like there's a case where those aspects do not exist, the type should still be supported.
Okay, so should I hit accept for that one then?
I think yes.
Okay, cool. All right, that looks like everything. Let's try to see. Man.
Same error. Okay, I would add it to Composer and say we got the same error. Please think step by step.
Please what? Step by step?
Think.
Cool.
The step by step gets it to slow down a little bit and to elaborate more on how it's thinking rather than immediately trying to execute.
Have you seen this platform Code Dev? What is it called? Cold Build Dev? I gotta find it again. But I like that it basically builds all the documentation first before it even goes to cursor. So step by step. Okay. Oh, okay.
So its name is actually missing sometimes.
Says it might have it as optional.
Yeah, so this change is making the name field optional.
Okay.
And then we're updating the actual usage of the component. Removing the name as required. That looks good. And then if we're missing artist name, we're just showing the word artist.
Gotcha.
I think that looks good to me.
Okay, let's go down here again. Man, so many of these errors now.
There's the same. Let's manually go into this file. Can you scroll up? Let's control click into that file. And let's try to find where the red line is. I don't see any red lines in here.
I don't either.
That's very weird.
Is it because, I mean, are these are two different route files though, right? Like,
Those are two different route files,
yeah,
correct?
these are different. Okay.
Why is it failing? There's no red lines here.
It says type error, but we don't
It
have
says
any.
line 60, which is where you're on. I guess tell chat to try, or click it and say, please fix in chat. Yeah, add to composer. Please fix. Let's critically look at this change because I don't see the error on the page, and so I'm going to be skeptical about whatever it suggests. It's modifying our types, making things required. I'm not sure how that's going to fix it. I'm losing confidence in its ability to tell us what's going on. Let's give it one more chance to accept, and let's try the build.
Okay.
Is it suggesting anything else here or no?
I think that was all I saw.
Yeah, let's try the build again then. If it doesn't work this time, I'm going to try to think through it.
Oops.
It's given us the same error. Okay. Type is not compatible, is not assignable to Spotify track. Type of artist info.support links are incompatible between these types. Okay, let's go to that route. Is it already open or no? If not, can we open the route? Okay.
Yep.
And it's saying which part is specifically not liking. Is it current tracks?
Yeah.
Can you say add to composer and say, yeah, add to composer.
Just that line or everything?
Everything. Unselect wherever you're, yeah, now add to composer. Don't, there you go. This is, please ignore this error. Say, please ignore this error. It's just a type error. I don't want us to be spending time on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, accept that.
Go ahead.
Try it again. Now it's for recently played. Say do the same, add the composer, and then say do the same thing here. Okay. Let's accept.
It says trust our definitions.
Yeah, and we're going to need to do the same thing for those new two red lines, but it should tell us in a couple seconds.
Cool.
Do the same thing.
Please do the same thing. Oh, now it's grabbing it from top track rather than Spotify track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Come on, TypeScripts.
Same thing. You got to add the error.
Oh, sorry, I thought I did.
There you go.
That makes more sense. Recent
But
track.
it doesn't have a, what's the new error? Fixing composer.
Command Shift T.
Okay. Looking better. Any other red lines? Not seeing any.
No. All right, let me try one more time. I just want you to deploy.
Right. Please fix. These are weird things. I guess they're types. Let's accept it and then see what the error is.
Accept all of them.
Yeah, the changes look weird, but let's.
Current item is not a track.
No, yeah, reject this file, reject it all. And then say, please ignore these errors. I'm done trying to fix them. Let's just ignore them.
Yeah, right.
I just get fed up with TypeScript and yep, just please add those TypeScript ignores. Blind accept. Still a lot of red lines. So let's fix the red lines in this file however we can.
Okay.
Delete.
What if I? You said delete what?
Delete line 4. Also line 2 and 3 because it looks like those are unused.
Damn, but that's not good. Import get meta. Okay, let's just delete it for now.
Now we're going to need to find where these red lines are and get them fixed. I see a whole bunch on the right side.
Okay.
Tell it to please ignore any type errors in this file, honestly.
Okay, please. Oops.
And it looks like in the context does not include the file that you're looking at. So you'll want to stop that run and drag and drop the tab that's open after you save this tab into the chat.
Oh, after I save it. So hold on
Save
a second. Dang it, I forgot how to save.
Command S to save.
Okay, and then just move this into here.
There you go. Now run it again. There you go. Yeah, let's just ignore for the whole file. That sounds great.
Cool. All right, let me go over and run build. Please just run.
Let's click into there.
I think it's the same one. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, copy the top.
Copy what's line 1.
Okay.
Copy. Go over to your file with the error and put it at the same place at the top of the file. We're just going to start ignoring because we are at time for this video. I want to help you get to the build so that we have conclusion. You need to save the file before running it again.
Cool. Saved.
Ready to go again.
Yes.
Okay, it's finished. Top, we're going to go over to the Get tab.
The Get tab, all right.
Type in I fix all build errors.
Okay.
In the changes line, you'll click the plus below the commit button to add all the files. There you
here,
go.
this one, right?
Yep. Now commit and then push or sync. Yep. All actions will push and pull, or yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, sick.
Let's go back to Vercel in one of your open tabs. Scroll the way up. Click on the name of the project in the top bar.
The top bar here.
Here. Right. There you go. Yep. And we can see the deploy is kicked off. Our previous deployments, the longest one we've got was 30 seconds. So let's see if we can pass 30 seconds. You can click into it if you'd like, or we can stay here.
This is the place I always wait to see if it builds.
Cool.
All right, we're past 31 seconds. That's good.
I'm going to try to get us into 3 things. If the deploy works, we'll check out this preview. If the preview looks good, we're going to jump over to your pull request. We're not going to review the code changes. We're just going to merge it into main. Once it gets merged into main, we'll verify that the Vercel deploy works for your production branch, and then we'll wrap up with concluding thoughts. Does that sound like an okay path?
Amazing. We're in there.
And you can share this link with anybody.
Yeah, let's try to connect. Oh, no. Oh, well, that's because we didn't put our environment variables.
Yep, that's going to be fine for now.
Okay.
We will need to set that. So go to, right where your mouse is. We need to know what your production URL is. So scroll up, click on the name of the project like you did before, and go to the settings tab.
Settings tab.
Go to the domains on the left. This is both where you can see your free domain, which it looks like it's failed to assign. So let's edit this and put in whatever domain name we want your website to use. Edit. Yeah, you can change that name to be anything.vercel.app. So name it whatever you want it to be, .vercel.app, and as long as nobody else has used it, you can have it. Yes, yeah, just do that.
Hit
I don't know why
refresh.
it's failing to assign. Oh, why is it failing to assign? Your most recent deployment to prod failed. That is fine. Let's copy the name of this URL. And you're going to copy it and go into settings on the left side, environment variables.
Environment variables.
Yep, they'll all be hidden, so it's okay. And now scroll down, find wherever your redirect URL is. Yep, let's click the 3 dots on the right of redirect URL.
This
Edit.
one right here?
Yes, sir. And now delete that value and we'll delete the URL. It looks like you need to keep the /API/off, but delete localhost 3000 and put in what you have saved. Just the first. No, just the first.
Oh, sorry.
Before, just localhost 3000.
This one.
Yeah, paste. There you go. Save that.
That's what it was. Okay.
And now it's working. Are you okay to merge this to main on GitHub?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it. Open up GitHub.
All right, GitHub. Let me see. Okay.
Go into pull requests.
Pull requests.
Select your pull request. Click on the title, Pete / and scroll down, and we will verify that we have checks. We've got checks now, and keep scrolling down, and you're going to click merge.
Merge pull request.
Yep. Confirm the merge. Now we can go back to Vercel. We have verified that we are now deploying on a preview of Vercel. We have merged your pull request into main. We now go back to the deployments tab in Vercel, and we watch as your main deployment runs. We've already updated your redirect URL, which is what we saw in testing was failing. So fingers crossed, we've updated your redirect URL. If we visit that URL you just set after this deployment finishes in about 20 seconds, it should work.
Cool. And then, yeah, I would just have to change my environment variables so that it'll actually work.
What other environment variables do you think you'll need to change?
Well, my API stuff, right? Like I have to place
because you
sort of
exposed it.
Well, no, because I exposed it. But yeah, I mean, so each time I've deployed, I've gone into like the environment variables and just put in like my different APIs, so it'll work. But okay, look at deployed.
Nice.
But is that not the right way to do it?
It should be a one-time set and forget for all your environment variables. Indirect redirect URI is what we're getting. So something about our redirect URI that we put in is not correct. Can you go into your code base and search for redirect URL? I want to see how you are handling your redirect URL in the code. How can we debug getting invalid redirect URI? Can you copy that error you're seeing and put it in a composer and have it try to fix the error for you?
Yeah. Should I put any files in here?
Explain where, or think step by step to debug this.
Should I get rid of these files as context?
That sounds good. Yeah, get rid of both of those. Send it. Let me read through this. Can you scroll up a little bit? Let's embed. Error typically occurs. Redirect is configured. Oh, have you configured this URL in your Spotify developer dashboard? Can you open up your Spotify developer dashboard for me?
Probably not the new one. Let me just go ahead. I'm going to have it on a different window for a second.
Okay.
Okay. Just to make sure that I'm not going to
share private keys.
Yeah. Okay, settings. Okay, music. Okay, here it is. Oh, okay, I see the error. I just need to put the new domain in here. That didn't work. Hold on.
Make sure you preface it with an HTTPS.
Yep. Why is it? It's not copying it. It's not letting me paste.
Are there any private things in there, or can you share so that I can see? Make sure you click add it in the bottom.
Oh, duh.
And then you should be able to add it as an additional one. You don't need to remove.
So
And then add the same thing. Add the same extension of /API /auth. Okay. And let's go back to the app and try click and refresh the page. Yeah. Refresh, and let's try connect again. Did we refresh? Did I just miss it? Tried.
Yeah, I hit refresh. Let me hit one more time though. Okay.
Invalid redirect URI. Okay. The goal for this call was to get Vercel build working. You have now deployed on Vercel. We are now hitting a different error of a redirect, which is related to Spotify as opposed to Vercel. I would call this session as successful. Before you were unable to deploy to Vercel, you are now deploying to Vercel. The thing that we changed is we took each of your errors, put them into Composer, and had Composer fix the errors. How would you rate our ability to take your goal and?
Oh, we did it. We did it. I would rate it a 10. We did it.
Okay. As we start to wrap up this call, what are your thoughts on next steps?
Well, I definitely have to redo all my APIs because I just exposed them one more time. So I'm going to do that as soon as we get off the call. And then, I think my last question would be this. It seems like in my environment file, it still has this local host, but obviously this is just local, so it's not copying.
Right.
I'll see what it says if you're deploying a production. Yeah, I'll just have to see a little bit to see. I already did this. Update your environment in production, which I already did.
Right.
Next authorization. Yeah, I mean, there's no changes. Yeah, I'll just try to see how I can debug this at this next spot.
And if you're still hitting that error after debugging it a couple times, let me know, and just consider me on your team for any time you need pair programming. I'm happy to jump back on. And the more simple we keep the goals, the more likely it is we reach them. As you see in our 60-minute call, they get filled up pretty fast.
Yeah, no problem. Do you think that I should delete this? Or no,
on my
because
Spotify dashboard, I have a million URLs in there. I say keep it, and if anything, add new ones that you need, but don't delete your existing ones.
Cool. All right. No, amazing, man. Like, this has been so helpful. Really appreciate you as always, man.
Any final words you want to send off for any musician that's watching this who has zero coding experience, or someone like you who's watching this that has a little bit of experience? Any final words before we end the stream?
Yeah, I mean, coding can be very overwhelming, right? But what I've learned so much from it in general. I love how much it is about documentation, right? I love how much your build will be streamlined if you can spend some time in the beginning and really outlining your idea. And then also just taking things step by step. I couldn't have never done this if I really went and just started reading about JavaScript. You know what I mean? It really took just opening up Cursor and starting to have a conversation with the AI and kind of trusting some of the steps and just reading a little bit step by step as to what's happening. So I'm learning. I'm a very hands-on person, so like I need to be able to like do things, and like that fast feedback loop has been really inspiring for me in general, to see an idea come to life in such a short amount of time. And then on top of that, just like now we're in a time, this is the most exciting time that I've ever been in, even though it's also very terrifying. But it's very exciting because now creatives are building apps, not that hasn't happened before, but we have people entering at a lower knowledge base or knowledge, whatever you want to say, trying to code apps. And that's very exciting to see somebody like TK, to see somebody like Girl, to see some of these artists that have ideas but just can't afford to build these things or pay somebody to build these things is so powerful. And I'm hyped to see what's going to happen over this next year, and to see what everybody's going to build. So again, thank you so much, Sweet. You're an angel, bro. You've helped this community and this whole space so much, and like, please keep doing this.
It's only day one.